Remus, Chapter 2 of Sirius Male Ninetales Beast, Remus' brother, reader story. Let's go. Chapter 2, First Class of the Year. Julian Jackson Lupin, reader Lupin Provo. I woke up in the arms of Sirius. I smiled and moved out of his arms, and I smiled and kissed his lips. He smiled and loved it and kissed back. I smiled and looked at the clock, and I tapped his shoulder. Sirius, it's time to get up for breakfast, I spoke. All right, I'm up, said Sirius. I got out of his arms and headed to the bathroom and took a shower, and Sirius joined me. I smiled and looked at him, and we washed ourselves, and it was time for us to get ready for me for work and him taking care of the school and doing jobs for Dumbledore. I smiled and climbed out and went to get a towel. Sirius grabbed me a towel and wrapped me up. I smiled and he wrapped himself in a towel. We dried each other off and then headed to get changed. I smiled and looked at myself in the mirror. I smiled and bowed to myself to get used to being a professor in the school. I smiled and looked at myself. I got dressed and Sirius kissed me and got me into the main dining area, and Dumbledore smiled and bowed to me and I bowed back. This is our new professor, Julian Jackson Lupin. He will be he will also be the professor manager of the Ravenclaw house, said Dumbledore. I smiled and looked at the kids I worked with over the years, and they smiled. This is also the professor's boyfriend and the professor's teacher in the Tailbeats class, said Dumbledore. You two can come sit with us, said my mom McGonagall. We took our seats and the food was placed in front of us. I smiled and bowed my head and smiled. She bowed back and I smiled and started to eat and smiled and looked at my food and drink. I loved how she and the cook made the food and hot chocolate. I smiled it was time for us to get to our classrooms. I went to my classroom and sat in the chair and looked at my list of students in the houses. I smiled and bowed to them and they bowed back. Hello, class. Hello, class. Hello, class. Hello, class. We are going to learn about the tail beast. I am also tail beast. Which tail beast am I? I spoke. I think you are the one. You are the one-tailed, said one from the Hufflepuff student. Ron, I spoke. Anyone, I spoke. You are the two-tailed, said the Gryffindor student. Ron, I spoke. Anyone else? I spoke. You are a three-tailed beast, said the Slytherin student. You are a three-tailed beast, said the Slytherin student. Ron, I spoke. You are a nine-tailed beast, said Ravenclaw. That is right, Ravenclaw student, I spoke. Wait, you're a nine-tailed beast, said Slytherin. Yes, I'm a nine-tailed beast, I spoke. Wow, that is so cool, said Hufflepuff. It is very cool, I spoke. Do you go into heat? Asked the Gryffindor. Yes, I do go into heat, I spoke. That is weird, said the Slytherin. Well, get used to it, I spoke. Can you have babies? Said the Gryffindor. Yes, I can have babies, I spoke. Wow, that is so cool, said the Hufflepuff. So let us talk about the other tail beasts, I spoke. There are 10 tail beasts, I spoke. But there are 11 and 12 more, I spoke. Wow, that is so cool, said the Slytherin. Wow, is something we want to know, said the Hufflepuff. So what else is it? Said the Gryffindor. Whoa, let us go and find them, said the Hufflepuff. I was going to say that all of them are in hiding, I spoke. Really? Said the Hufflepuff. Yes, I told them to go into hiding so no one would hurt them. They are my pack, and I will always protect them, I spoke. You are the leader of the pack, asked the Slytherin. Yes, I am the leader of the pack, I spoke. So do you ever want them to show themselves? Said the Hufflepuff. Yes, I would, I spoke. So sure, if you could let them meet us, what can we ask them? Said the Ravenclaw. You can ask them about their lives, I spoke. That would be fun, said the Hufflepuff. I will leave you to that, I spoke. I will give you a day off to learn what to do for the rest of the day. I spoke. Yes, sir, said the Slytherin. I smiled and they talked about each other of the tail beasts. I smiled and marked that what they were doing and smiled and the bell rang. And they got up and went to their next class. I smiled and waved to them and Sirius came in to check on me. Hey love, how was it? Said Sirius. It was good. The kids loved what I talked about. I spoke. So, you want to go on a date? You have a break till afternoon classes, said Sirius. I smiled about and got up and we went to a date and he took us to the town. I smiled and looked at the town and went to the cake shop to see our friends from school. I smiled and we got inside. And Sirius hugged Molly and Molly hugged me. It's good to see you, Toy. How was your first class? Said Molly. It was good. The kids loved their class. I spoke. Wow, that was good, said Arthur. I smiled and hugged him and he smiled and the kids came and hugged me. Hi, Uncle Tony, said Fred. Hi, Fred, I spoke. Hi, Uncle Tony, said George. Hello, George, I spoke. Hello, Uncle Tony, said Bill. Hello, Tony. Hello, Bill, I spoke. Hello, Uncle Tony, said Percy. Hello, Percy, I spoke. So what are you boys doing? I spoke. We are helping Mom and Dad, said George. That is good, I spoke. So you kids did a good job, said Molly. A smile rubbed the kids' heads. They smiled and I went to get to look around and smiled and saw what I would need and grabbed and took it for myself and the students. I smiled and went to the cash register and smiled and found Bill was working the register. And I smiled and he rang it up and I smiled and gave him the money to give him it for their sibling for a snack. He smiled and ran to his mom and gave her the snack money. I smiled and she smiled as well and bowed to me and I smiled and showed Arthur the kids got snack money from their awesome uncle. I looked at the clock and it was going to be lunchtime and I had needed to get back for the regular kids. I pointed to the watch and Sylvia smiled and looked at Molly and she knew to told the kids to hug me. They did and I smiled, hugged them as back and hugged Arthur and then Molly and we headed back to school and we went to the dining area hall and smiled looked at the kids and they were shocked I was a little late. I'm sorry we had to go to a place, I spoke. We knew where you were. We were waiting for you, said Dumbledore. I sat in my spot and Sirius sat in his spot and they used their wands and the food came in for them. I smiled and the lady brought my meal. I smiled and started to eat and it was good, so good. I smiled, bowed my head and she smiled and bowed. I was eating when I was finished. I went to my class and set up my prank for the kids. I smiled and got it done, and the kids came in, and it was Matthew's group of years. I smiled and looked at Matthew, and he was looking for what I planned against them. I smiled like an angel and looked at the board. So time for the plan, I thought. Well, students, time to learn about the tail beast, I spoke. I am really shocked, said Matthew. Yes, Sir Matthew, I spoke. You have something planned, sir, said Matthew. Oh my, no, I don't, I spoke. So you say so, said Matthew. Let us start class. What tail beast am I spoke. Yes, you, Gryffindor, I spoke. You are a one-tailed beast, said the Gryffindor. No, I am not. So punish me, I spoke, pulling a string, and the punishment came into him. And he laughed, and I laughed as well. Matthew shook his head. Anyone else? I spoke. Yes, Slytherin, I spoke. You are a two-tailed beast, said the Slytherin. No, I'm not. So punishment, I spoke. I pulled the string, and the punishment happened, and he laughed, and I laughed as well. And Matthew shook his head. No, who is next? I spoke. Hufflepuff, your turn goes ahead. I spoke. You are three-tailed beasts, said the Hufflepuff. Nope. So it's punishment time, I spoke. I pulled the string, and the punishment went off, and I smiled and they started to laugh. I laughed as well. Now the only now it only now it is only leaves the Ravenclaw student. I spoke. Matthew shook his head, and then he said this. You're nine-tailed beast, said Matthew. Oh, you are right. I spoke. So no punishment for you, but maybe next time. I spoke. You are not giving me the punishment again, said Matthew. Fine, I spoke. Let us continue, I spoke. We are going to talk about the tailed beasts. I spoke. Yes, sir, said the Gryffindor. Okay, there are 1 to 10 tailed beasts, but people don't know about the 11 and 12 tailed beasts. I spoke. Really, said Matthew. Yes, I know, I spoke. So let us talk about all of them. Oh, and oh, McGonagall, I spoke. What? Why is the earth room a mess? Said my mom.